Microsoft Dynamics 365. Microsoft Dynamics is one of the largest ERP vendors in the marketplace. It's one of the top 3 actually, used in a lot of different industries, not just construction, but it has some strengths that are applicable to the construction space. For example, it has some fairly strong project management, project costing types of functionality and capabilities, certainly inventory management, your basic financials, all the stuff you might look for as far as basics in an ERP system, Microsoft Dynamics 365 has. Another strength of the product is that it fits companies of all sizes. Even if you're a small organization, it can be relevant to you. It's not too much or too heavy from a software perspective. And certainly if you're a larger organization or aspire to be a larger construction organization, it can scale to meet your needs as you grow and continue to evolve. It's also a very flexible product. Microsoft Dynamics 365 is known for its open architecture, its flexibility, and the ability to adjust the software to fit the different nuances of your construction business. Those are some of the strengths of the product, in addition to the fact that many organizations throughout the world are using it. There's a strong ecosystem around it, a lot of different implementers and resellers that support the product. Now, the biggest downside of Microsoft Dynamics 365 is that even though there are a lot of resellers and implementers of the product, Microsoft has somewhat of a laissez-faire approach to how they manage their implementers. In other words, they don't have a solid grip on the quality assurance or the quality control behind who can implement the product, who can sell the product. So you have to be real careful who you buy the software from and who you have implement the product, because there's a lot of good implementers out there, but there's also a lot of really bad ones, and there's a lot of really mediocre ones as well. So of all the ERP systems in our top 10 list, Microsoft Dynamics 365 probably has the most challenged implementer ecosystem, so you want to be real careful about who you choose to implement the product. Some of the other downsides to consider are, first of all, the cost. The cost can be a bit higher than some of the other systems in the marketplace. Part of the reason for that higher cost actually leads us to another downside of the product, which is it's such a broad product built for so many different industries. It's such an integrated product that you end up having to spend a lot of money on modules and functionality and capabilities that you may not need necessarily, but you need it to get the product set up. And so that adds a layer of complexity and cost to the overall setup of the product. And Maestro is one of a handful of systems in our top 10 list that specialize almost exclusively on the construction business. And by focusing on the construction business, it allows the product to do things like project management, project accounting very well, which is something that's very important to many, if not most, if not all, construction organizations. And that's something that Maestro does really well. It's a very modular system, so you can add on modules that handle billing and estimates, financials, other needs that your construction business might have. So that's something you can really grow into. You can start off smaller and grow into the product as you evolve and as your needs change over time. Compared to other systems in our top 10 list, it's one of the more easy to use, one of the more intuitive systems in the market in our top 10 list. And compared to other systems in our top 10 list, it's easier to implement and is oftentimes implemented for less money than other systems in our list. So those are things to think about from the advantages side of things. Now, 2 downsides of the product in particular. First of all, the customer support isn't as strong as some of the other systems in the market. It's harder to find resources outside the company that know the product well. So that's a consideration, especially when you compare it to a product like a Microsoft Dynamics, where there's a lot of organizations and companies out there that you can draw from to help you with the implementation. Maestro simply doesn't have that level of support. And then finally, one of the other downsides is that the reporting capabilities of Maestro are not as strong as some of the other systems, especially if you compare it to a Microsoft or some of the other systems that we'll get to.